Welcome back. I'm still here. I'm still clocking in at work. So getting paid to talk about myself. I had some thoughts about an album that I found a couple years ago, and I wrote a few things about it, and I wanted to share. So I'm sharing. The album's called Kenopsia by Quannnic. It came out in 2024. Yeah. I've never been one to reveal anything too personal about myself to new people or to anyone. The process is much easier when they already know what I'm suffering from or the hardships under the character I uphold in the social spheres that I frequent. One specific new person was someone I slowly began connecting to through physical fitness, video games, nature, our sense of humor, and most importantly, music. I was given a new roommate in the summer of 2024. He was a friend of a previously established roommate who had convinced him to move up and study at the same college that we were at. Our friendship began quickly, and we shared the same resentment for that friend and his lifestyle. Add in that our other roommate was a socially inept rich kid with no self awareness, and you have a cauldron of bonding material. My experience during the 2 years prior to this had been a time filled with addiction, lies, a lack of accountability, failed classes, and deception in all of my relationships. I'd been on a good track for about 2 months before he moved in. I was eating healthier, going to the gym every morning at 6 a.m., telling the truth to everybody, and was sober from drugs and alcohol. Alcohol. Our mutual interest in the gym was a catalyst for daily conversation about how our lifts were or what our plan was for the week. I was blessed with a friend who I could show the underbelly of my reality during a time where I was showing everyone that everything was better or improving, which may not have been the case entirely, as much as I wanted it to seem. Music was a centerpiece of our relationship as we discussed the soundtracks to our workouts on a daily basis. We could talk about rap, rock, video game, and movie soundtracks, and early 2000s Unreal Tournament D&B mixes. We had a favorite hike to do a couple times a month called Bear's Den. The drive there and back was around 2.5 hours, which gave us plenty of time to share the music we'd been listening to. This is when Quantic was introduced into this dynamic. I told him that this might be the greatest song I've ever heard when referring to Life Imitates Life. I would tell him about the way it burned a fire in me that made my workouts much more fulfilling. I explained that I couldn't listen to anything else during the day besides Kenopsia because it had engulfed the way I viewed my current process of recovery and rebirth. I needed to have a healthy way to reflect with my past or misfortunes. This album was a safe house, and I felt like it was made specifically for my auditory systems and to repair my brain. It was a space to forgive myself for dwelling on the past. The definition for Kenopsia is shady online, but a good one I found was a forlorn atmosphere of a place that's usually bustling with people but is now abandoned and quiet. A school hallway in the evening, an unlit office on the weekend, vacant fairgrounds, an emotional afterimage that makes it seem not just empty but hyper empty, with a total population in the negative, who are so conspicuously absent they glow like neon signs. My past was now silent and empty. Kenopsia reminded me that I could stop looking for answers and salvation in the past, since that place is empty now. Every moment from this point on is full of people, problems, solutions, friends, and opportunities to make a beautiful reality for yourself. The past is just feedback. The past is just feedback that can be used to guide each choice you make going forward. You're never alone in this moment, but you're always alone when you leave it to dwell in the guilt of your past selves. I had found Kenopsia about a month prior and was entranced because I had never heard of anything with the same cohesiveness or quality through the entire album. It felt rich and it amplified the emotions I felt during my journey of becoming sober and reviving the boy I was before college. Kenopsia was the soundtrack of my rebuilding. I had preached solitude and introspection for myself as to better purify my thought process and be honest with myself. I felt contained and safe within the world this album had constructed for me. It reminds me of a time when I was evolving and embracing suffering. I was accepting circumstances and embracing happenstance. I was discovering a balance between fruitful growth within. I was discovering a balance between suffering and happiness. My bad. I found that balance to produce the most fruitful growth within. Embracing the uncertainty and taking every moment to be a possibility for reflection, learning, and laughter. I was being open and honest. I was saying yes to all opportunities, no matter the fears, being okay, no matter what I was experiencing, bringing truth to myself and others, and committing to the flow of life in the face of an uphill battle. The reason this album still plays such a major role in my life today is because of what has endured from that transformative period. The philosophies that I built for myself, the newfound gratitude for all things in my life, and most importantly, the connection I formed during the year me and that new friend lived together. Nothing in this world is able to nothing in this world is able to unify two people like music. The stars aligned between the two of us and our journeys. Each day brought new music, new memories, and new jokes to laugh at together. This long lasting friendship leads us to September 9th, 2025. Quannnic was playing at the DC9 in DC along with Kamo. The tour was announced, and a few months prior, the tour was announced a few months prior, and I received an Instagram post notification. I sent him a message notifying him that I already bought 2 tickets within 10 minutes of finding out he was going no matter what, and I would do anything to make that happen. We had been separated since 2024, and he had transferred about 4 months south of the city that I lived in, and we went to college in. He was instantly committed to this once in a lifetime opportunity to see one of our favorite artists in such a small venue. Warbrained had dropped a few months prior, and we shared the same exact bond over this project as we did with Kenopsia. The distance was shrunk ever so slightly since we knew exactly how we felt listening to this project. It was like a shared consciousness we could tap into. Prune Snail begin Prune Snail brings terrible pain to my heart as I reflect on the entire Kenopsia arc in our friendship and how that album brought us all the way to this new album. The show was an unbelievable moment in my life and an unforgettable memory between a friend I can truly call a brother. Between me and a friend I can truly call a brother. I don't want to edit this stuff. So you get the authentic me having reading troubles. Uh, we arrived and immediately went to the merch table to buy t-shirts. I really didn't have the finances to be spending any more money than I had at the time, but it was a non-negotiable purchase. I say this to emphasize the type of feelings that could have made me purchase a CD of Warbrained and K1 immediately after the show. We met other fans and connected through Quannnic, Kamo, and all sorts of other greats in the music scene. The show began, and Kamo gave a performance that I couldn't have imagined possible. It was nuts. I was like, tied for number one with Quannnic, anyways, of all time for me, for shows I've been to, whatever. Quannit came on very quickly after his set and unleashed the most incredible sonic. sonic onslaught that I've ever witnessed or heard tales about. Kenopsia and Warbrain tracks were woven through the entire set, which brought on a psychedelic experience and sent me back through all the memories I built around them. I was drenched in sweat after about 3 songs from Quannic set, and my friend made it known. I had no shame. Paperweight began, and I immediately swam my way through the crowd to help to find him since we had been separated in the chaos. We placed our arms around each other, and those around us joined. The entire crowd swayed together and belted out every word. It was pure bliss. The set ended after a joint performance of Stick. I think he might have played another song after that, but yeah. Both artists walked back to their dressing room through the crowd, and the lights came on to reveal an extremely diverse flock of sweaty people who love music. We had all shared a core memory that night, and we knew it. That acknowledgement filled the room and emanated from each of us. I told my friend that we needed to wait just a few minutes after we buy these CDs because I had faith that they would come back out and meet with us. And so they did. Quannnic is a great young artist who respects his fans and opened himself up to us in an extremely authentic way. He signed my friend's T-shirt and my Kenopsia CD. I had nothing to say except that he was the greatest. Full stop. I thanked him profusely and decided that less was more, especially when there's a line of fans behind me and that he has to talk to them and that they've all got stories to tell, and I'm sure they did. All I wanted to do was give him his flowers and extend my gratitude for shaping such a pivotal time in my life. I've got a lot more to say about this album, but this is some stuff I wrote yesterday, and I'm trying to get all of it out quickly. Um, Unbelievable album. I listen to it way more than I need to, and it's my favorite album I've ever listened to, and I listen to a whole lot of music. Um, Warbrained is in my top five for sure as well, and it's not even about the quality of the album, although they are just perfect, if not near perfect projects. Um, it's hard to put it into words, but when an album has this much of an impact on your early 20s, it's and your late teens, not my late teen, I wasn't a late teen, but my early 20s, it's hard to detach from it, and it's the type of thing that I'm going to be listening to until I'm dead. My kids are going to be tortured by it. They'll like it, but they're going to be tortured by it. The amount that I listen to it, and they're going to be cool going to school. They're going to go to school listening to it and put everybody on, and people are going to make fun of them for liking such old music because all those kids at their school are going to be listening to AI music. They're going to they're going to be listening to AI Drake in 2040. But Quannic is the goat. Um, Peak moment in my life. Getting to dap him up and get a picture with him. I'll put those pictures up um, while I'm talking about it. Um, but it was a great night, and Kamo's the goat too. That album is nuts. Um, so that's all. I will probably talk about this album again with more fleshed out thoughts because I want to do I'll do favorite album, favorite song videos, maybe weekly. We'll see, depending on how I'm feeling each week. Um, I'll probably record something else tonight. It'll be a favorite thing video for sure because I don't have a lot of writing to talk about right now. I haven't been able to write these last couple days because redacted redacted reasons. But I'm getting out of here. I gotta go. Actually, I gotta go to the office. Um, Yeah. Peace out. I'll be here. Come on back. Bye.